Enough, we'll go ahead. Okay, so you're all very welcome to the Town Hall this evening for our Maize Policy and Resources Committee meeting. If I can just begin before we go into the proper agenda, you'll all be aware, obviously, of the sudden and sad passing of our staff member Johnny Gibson, who died on the 29th of April 2024. And I want to just mention that as this committee deals directly with staff matters, so it's appropriate to mention Johnny at this stage. Johnny was employed, as you know, as an animal welfare officer, and prior to this had been a dog warden with the council since 2013. And I know that he had been diagnosed with an illness and died quite quickly. So obviously it's a shock to his family, and we extend our sympathy to Johnny's wife Daphne and to his daughter Ariane, son Jamie, and brother Robert, who we'll all know as a former council director, and the wider circle of his family and friends. So our yes, Jay Gary on him. Okay, so part one, apologies. I've got apologies from Councillors Michael Duff, Councillor McNulty, and Councillor Coyle, Debbie Coyle. And the Chief Executive sends apologies as well. Have we any other apologies? Councillor Warrington?
Councillor Ovens is running late.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so to sign minutes then of the confidential minutes of the minutes and confidential minutes of the previous meeting held on the 17th of April. We've just done that. Have we any declarations of interest? Councillor Donnelly, Anne-Marie?
Apologies, Chair. Roisin Devine Gallagher sent her apologies too.
Right, okay. I think Roisin's on this committee, is she? I don't think. Right. All right, okay, no problem. Okay. Have we any declarations of interest? No. Okay, so that takes us into our report. So I'll hand over to Louise, who'll take us through our report and consultations. Paper A. Go ahead, Louise.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So this is paper 4.1. The recommendation at 9.1 is that the Council approve the draft response submitted in relation to the Northern Ireland Policing Board Community Policing Survey. So this survey is quite a short survey. It's really aimed at citizens. So we did post it on social media today to encourage responses from individuals. Secondly, that the Council notes the additional information presented on, firstly, forthcoming consultations for information only. So there is a draft community involvement and cohesion strategy from the Northern Ireland Housing Executive. And secondly, the consultation response is submitted to another committee. So this was a response which was approved at RNC last night, which was on the proposed bill to amend legacy EU Common Market Organisation schemes for the Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Louise. Okay, members, have we any comments or questions for Louise? And if not, I'll take a proposer and seconder for that report, please. Councillor Brown, Dermot, and Councillor Hawke, Shirley. Thank you. Okay, section 4.2 is to consider a procurement and tenders report. Paper B, and Jill, take us through that, Jill.
Thank you, Chair. So it's the standard procurement and tenders update, and members are asked to approve one new tender to be awarded, a number of contracts to be extended and tenders to be issued. And the report also includes for information the details of tenders awarded during the previous month under delegated authority and the use of frameworks for procurement of a number of issues, and the specific details of the tenders for approval and for noting are outlined on page 4 and 5 of the report.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, proposer and seconder, please. Councillor Anne-Marie Donnelly and Councillor Warrington. And then our staff matters, paper C, and we've got Selma there.
Thank you, Chair. So in this staff matters report, you have one item for decision making and 2 items for information. So the item for decision making is 5 employee policies, which we have recently reviewed in consultation with our recognised trade unions. And we're recommending, obviously, that those are adopted, those amendments which are attached as appendices with track changes. Those are recommended for adoption. Then there's 2 items, Chair, in this paper for information. One is our annual submission of our fair employment monitoring return, which was submitted just at the start of May. And the information is summarised there in 3.1.2 of the report. So The third item in the paper, second item for information, is in relation to a consultation on a draft disciplinary policy and procedure for local government employees in Northern Ireland, and we're recommending that one for an officer response in relation to that consultation, and that we would submit that, say, by the 7th of June. So, Chair, the recommendations are that the Council approves the amendments in the employee-related policies as outlined, that we note the submission of the annual Fair Employment Monitoring Return and the consultation on the draft disciplinary policy and procedure for local government employees, to which we will submit an officer response.
Thank you, Thelma. Okay, members, have we any questions or comments on that report? If not, I'll take the two recommendations as they are, please. Motion seconder. Councillor Irvine and Councillor Hawkes. All agreed? Okay, thank you. So 4.4 is our director's report, and I'll hand over to Jill, please.
Thank you, Chair. So just the Director's report, there's one item for noting, which is an update on the status of actions from the Council, from the Special Council, and from the Policy and Resources Committee for the period December 23 to February 24, and those are for noting. Okay. And if I may at this juncture as well, just issue a reminder to members to complete the related party disclosure. So that's something that's due for our annual accounts and annual governance statement. So just a reminder on that.
There's probably an urgency in that at this
Yes.
stage, Jill, just to reinforce that message. I suppose it needs to be in sooner rather than later. Councillor Green?
Yeah, would a simple email stating that nothing has changed from last year suffice in that, or does the form have to be filled?
And if a submission has to be made, so yes, an email that nothing has changed or a nil return will suffice. So a communication, yeah.
Thanks, Seamus. Okay, so that's your report, Jill. Yeah, so can we get a proposer and seconder for the recommendations? Councillor Irvine and Councillor Deehan. Okay, and Jill, can you take us through the correspondence as well there? On 5.1, as to note correspondence from the Somme Association in relation to the 108th anniversary of the Battle of the Somme.
Yes, Chair, happy to do so. So this is a correspondence that has come through noting the commemoration of the Somme and inviting the Council to propose nominees to attend the commemoration service, which will be held in Thiepval in France on the 1st of July, coinciding with the Somme commemoration. So the request is that we seek nominations to attend that from members.
Okay, Councillor Irvine, sorry.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chair Stephen. It's been several years actually since the Council has participated in that. In actual fact, it's been several years, I think it's even pre-COVID, since we've actually had correspondence from the Somme Association in regard to that. And I see from the correspondence that they're not organising a trip per se, so I would presume should the Council nominate, the Council will actually have to do the travel arrangements themselves. But I welcome it, and I would propose that the Council send up to a maximum of 3 representatives. Presuming the Chair to be one of them, if the Chair is available, and 2 others. And that gives a spread basically across all other parties. So that would be my proposal, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, and just to see that the date of that event is the 1st of July, 2024. Okay, Councillor Green.
Thanks, Chair. I thought this was brought up at a previous meeting in relation to this. Am I wrong in thinking that Alison said we didn't normally pay for travel or attendance to the Somme event?
So, Councillor Green, my understanding is that will be offered by the Council, that the Council on this occasion will pay for travel and attendance to support attendance at this event, and that has happened historically, and that's my understanding for this year.
Councillor Irvine.
It's just basically for information, possibly for Councillor Green. I know, Seamus, up to about 4 years ago, just prior to COVID, there were no trips, but prior to that, I think in this Legacy Council, not the Legacy Council, sorry, the current council, FODC, we did actually send some representatives to a joint service, I think in September it was, but it definitely in the two Legacy Councils, Fermanagh and Omagh, when the Somme Association did organise the trip themselves, members from those two Legacy Councils did go and all expenses were included. I appreciate that we've taken a different slant, in this FODC with regards to what's going on. But I think as this invitation has come through and we haven't sent somebody for several years, it's timely, I think, as a council that we should do so. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Councillor Green.
Yeah, I thought we, as far as my memory is concerned, it's not that great, that we did send representation on the 100th anniversary. But my understanding was that was a one-off. How much would this event cost the council? Have we a price on this, on what it would cost?
No, we don't have that information at present.
Councillor Warrington.
Yeah, certainly the last time I think that the council sent representation, it was it's 108. This is the 108th one, so it wouldn't have been. I know Councillor Smith went because I think at that time he was chair, and Councillor Coyle, John, and Councillor Garrity was over at one stage. I think they were over in two separate stages. So certainly, I think it's since the 100th anniversary, 2017, 2018 time, we certainly did send a delegation over.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, okay. Councillor Hawkes, Shirley.
Thank you, Chair. I very much welcome this proposal. Obviously, I haven't been in council prior to this, so I don't know who ever went in the past or didn't go. But I do know it's very much part of our history. My young daughter actually covers the Second World War and has been doing her exams on it at the minute. So if this proposal was to go ahead, I would myself would be very much interested in it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So we have a proposal by Councillor Irvine there that we send the chair and two other reps. Is that right? Be a seconder for that? Councillor Irvine. Sorry, Councillor Warrington. Apologies, Victor. Councillor Green.
Yeah, I would propose that we actually get a price for this and maybe some more information to come back on what happened previously. And like, I don't think that'd leave it too late to be to come back at the next council meeting, so that we're just clear on. I don't think we can just spend the council money without knowing what exactly we're spending and what was done previously. So if it was brought back to the council meeting in June, we'd be able to then make an informed decision, I think.
Okay. And have you got a seconder for that proposal? Councillor Anne-Marie Donnelly. Okay, so I can sense dissension here, so I'll take the Councillor Irvine's proposal first. Are we all agreed on that one? No. Okay, so maybe just a show of hands we'll do it maybe. Yeah. And 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that falls. So Councillor Green's proposal to defer to June to seek more information around the costs and further information about the council's participation in the event in the past. Is that right, Seamus, basically? Yeah. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that passes. Councillor Warrington.
Just my concern on that is, like, it's on the 4th of July. We're now halfway through May. So if we leave this to the June meeting, obviously flight costs, etc., are going to have increased quite significantly between now and our first council meeting in
Yeah.
June. And
Yeah, no, I sense your frustrations, and I suppose it's regrettable we don't have the costings, and you should all be aware of the focus that this council in particular has been on there in recent times in relation to expenditure and spending ratepayers' money. So I think the point that Seamus has made is very valid, that we do need to know how much it costs. I'm sure there'll be no issue. Councillor Irving, finally, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, but look, it's just a bit of information, I think, for our Director Jill in regard to compilations of costs. I know that the Somme Association, what they did was fly from Belfast to London, picked up a coach, and then went down over Dover Kelly and they either stayed in Omeo or they actually stayed sometime at Lille. Some people who made their own way, and possibly Councillor Rainey would be a good source of information, because he goes along with a group every year that's based around sort of Oma Newton Stewart up in Strabane, and they actually go and they research the Commonwealth War Graves Commissions sort of on behalf of constituents who are looking for relatives who are buried. So they actually go, they could actually give you an idea how they go. Now, I have a funny feeling they take a minibus, so I'm just not sure. But I believe some of the other councils, I think, flew into Lille and then actually coached it from Lille, maybe up to Omeo. Omeo is quite close to the Somme battlefield, and it's also close to Ypres, because that might be brought in as well, because they normally go up, I think, along with this, to try and at least get a commemoration service at the Benham Gate, because the fire service in Ypres actually has a lasting memorial to all who basically lost their lives around that area. And it's not just Commonwealth, it's actually German as well, basically all who lost in the thing. They actually play the last post every night. And it's quite a big thing. And I know a lot of people combine the Somme and go up to Ypres as well, that's salient. So it might be useful if you contact those and see what's going on. So
Okay.
sorry, that's just for information.
No, thank you, Robert. That's useful. Thank you. Okay, so that's been deferred to June's council meeting for decision. 5.2 then, so Jill was from the Local Government Commissioner for Standards.
Yes, Chair. So that's a correspondence from the Local Government Commissioner. It's an update on their annual report, which gives performance measures in terms of investigation of allegations, decisions and case handling, and statistical data in terms of the number of allegations and the outstanding cases. And there is a link in that correspondence to the summary report from the Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. All right, have we any questions on that? If not, we'll take a proposer and seconder to note that. Councillor Emery Donnelly and Councillor Brown. And there's no other correspondence, Jill? No? Okay, perfect. I know we had a proposer and seconder just for it to be deferred back to a discussion on that. Okay, so that takes us into the motion, item 6. I'm just going to come off the chair for this section of the meeting and invite Councillor O'Reilly maybe to take us through section 6. Okay, thank you.
Okay, members, 6.1 then we have the motion that was delegated over to the committee from the council meeting, and that's proposed by Stephen, who is where? There he is there.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I'm just giving me laptop a few seconds just to come to life. And it does quickly, it has done. Okay, so we'll take the motion as read, Chair. So on Wednesday, the 1st of May, the British government's shameful legacy bill came into being, effectively slamming the door to truth and justice to many families here in Fermanagh and Omagh. The passing of this date has caused immense hurt and pain to those families, especially to those families who have been granted fresh inquests in light of new information coming to light about the death of their loved ones. And it would be remiss of me not to specifically mention the family of former councillor Patsy Kelly, who was abducted and murdered 50 years ago this July. This legacy bill has no political support here. There's no political party in this chamber supports it. The Victims Commissioner has expressed his desire to see the bill withdrawn, saying, "We would love to see it withdrawn," simple as that. Groups representing bereaved families have also been very, very vocal in voicing their opposition to this bill, with Relatives for Justice saying that if made law, it would remove all rights and access to justice, and called it anti-victim, anti-human rights and anti-rule of law. So it's fair to ask the question, if it is the opinion of the victims groups, if it's the opinion of all the main political parties here, the opinion of the Irish government that this shameful bill should be scrapped, and why are the British government so hell-bent on ensuring it's enacted? It's clear that this bill has just one purpose, and it's a cynical and callous attempt to block the heartbroken families from ever getting truth through the courts for their loved ones, and to hide the role that the British state forces and their agents played throughout the conflict. And this week has been very, very painful for these families as this bill became live. I spoke to Patsy Kelly's widow, Teresa, just on that Wednesday, and I have to say, a remarkable woman whose strength and quiet determination is inspiring. And it was clear how the passing of this bill has been exceptionally tough for her and her family. As I said earlier, this bill marks 50 years since Patsy's murder. He's a much-loved husband and father, a highly respected local councillor for the Trillick area, and I've got no doubt that Patsy was singled out to inflict maximum fear into that local community. The Police Ombudsman's report referenced the deep-seated levels of collusion into Patsy's murder by the police, military and loyalist paramilitaries. And then in June, just last year, the family were informed that a fresh inquest would be held into the circumstances around Patsy's murder. The culmination of decades of hard work and sheer courage and quiet resilience and dignity. This legacy bill now slams the door firmly shut on this process. A bill introduced by a rogue state that stands heavily implicated in what happened on the Bodoni Road in July 1974. The passing of this bill, in Teresa's own words, does nothing more than to confirm how guilty the British state is in the murder of our loved ones. It's as simple as that. Sinead, Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. And seconded by Declan.
Just like to start off before I second Stephen's proposal. I'd like to thank the Chair and the Chief Executive for allowing me to come to the P&R meeting tonight to second Councillor McCann's proposal. We as a council must show our total opposition to what the British government have done. We must stand strong in our support for the bereaved families in the pursuit for justice. What the British government has done is opposed both north and south of this island, as well as groups who support those bereaved and injured during the Troubles. Although I am aware in our pursuit for justice, we understand those who carried out these deplorable acts may have already have died or be in ill health. But our pursuit for justice and the truth should still be ongoing. And I hope this council will support Councillor McCann's proposal.
Okay. Thank you, Declan. Josephine.
Thank you, Chair, and I would like to thank Councillor McCann, Councillor McArdle for bringing forward this motion. And of course, everything that Councillor McCann has said is true, that this Legacy Act bill, effective from the 1st of May, has caused great pain and anguish throughout the region. Every family has the right to seek truth and justice for their deceased loved one. And Councillor McCann describes with great effect the impact on the community of the murder of the late councillor. And I think that particularly for us here as Fermanagh and Omagh District Council, that we are particularly cognizant of the loss suffered by the Kelly family following the death of Patsy. So I hope that this bill can be revoked. As Councillor McCann says, it has no political support here on either side of the political divide. And I think that we as a council should stand firm and express our dismay that this bill has been brought into effect, and we should seek to have it revoked as soon as possible. So I'm happy to support the motion, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Josephine. Victor?
Thank you, Chair. Well, obviously, as already has been said, first of all, I wasn't really going to speak on this tonight, but we're obviously a bit late in the chamber. This bill it has been opposed by all parties in Northern Ireland, and as has been stated, in Southern Ireland as well. We are not going to single out a single atrocity, and because in my view, all mother was wrong, regardless of who carried it out and why they carried it out. And I am not denying at any time that there was not rogue elements within the security forces in Northern Ireland. Of course there was. But let's not single out one side or the other. All families deserve, they're ones to be looked into and investigated, and nobody has any more right than the next person to get that done. So as a party, the Ulster Unionist Party will be supporting the motion, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Victor. Shirley?
Chairman, can I bring in the amendment, although the two gentlemen are not here?
That's a you can change who proposes the whole thing. Yeah. You can make the proposal to the amendment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That this council notes with great dismay the implementation of the British Government's Legacy Act, effective from May the 1st. This council recognises that the passing of this shameful bill has brought great anguish, pain and distress to families seeking truth and justice for their loved ones lost during the conflict. This council reaffirms our total opposition to this bill, notes that this bill has no political support here, and continues to stand in solidarity with all families in their ongoing pursuit of truth and justice. Furthermore, this council supports a public inquiry into both the Omagh bomb and Enniskillen bomb as victims seek justice. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Shirley. Robert?
Sorry, I don't mean to cut across, but from a procedural point of view, Chair, if you are allowing Councillor Hawkes to actually stand in for the proposing second guard here, do I need a seconder or not?
No, I'm not letting her stand in. Shirley's actually proposing the
Right.
amendment.
Well, I'll second the...
You're second.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get it procedurally correct.
No, once they're not here, they can't. You
Yep.
can't stand in. You
That's
have
okay.
to
And I won't say anything. I agree with what our previous colleagues and other members in the chamber have said. I won't add any more. Okay, thanks.
Cheers, Robert. Thank you. Josephine?
Thank you, Chair. Well, I had actually, I was coming in to second Councillor Hawkes' proposal, but I want to speak in support of this amendment. This amendment really just adds that this council would support the public inquiry into both the Omagh bomb and the Enniskillen bomb, two atrocities, no justice obtained for the relatives of the deceased. So I think that this would go some way to alleviating the suffering of the bereaved families. So happy to support the amendment, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Josephine. And no other speakers, so Stephen?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And it's probably unique in the fact that something can be as controversial as the legacy aspect of our past. This motion has probably got unanimous support, which I welcome, and it just shows how out of touch the British government actually are if they think that they can, just roll over the families that suffered here. as Victor says, no family suffering is any greater or any less than the next families. And that's why whenever I worded this motion, Chairman, I was very careful not to reference that. And of course, I did speak of Patsy Kelly in my comments, which I will do. And as a local councillor from Thrillick, I remember Patsy regularly, especially when I come into the town hall. And I suppose other councillors will remember families from their area as well, which they're also entitled to do. But in terms of the wording of the motion, I was very careful not to specify any family, so it was reflective of all families across the district. Just to finalise, I suppose, Patrick Kelly Jr., Councillor Kelly's son, in a recent media interview, said that if the thugs and the tin pot politicians in the Tory party are going to silence families like mine, they're seriously mistaken, because we have built a form of resilience over the decades. They have no idea as to the level of determination and fight that we will continue to bring. Our loved ones mattered. The Legacy Act and its enactment is all about saying our loved ones didn't matter, and that we as families seeking the truth do not matter. Well, I suppose, the passing of this motion tonight will show, hopefully, these families and all the other families who are suffering that, they do matter. And this council will stand by every family, I suppose, as they take this on ahead. And I'm sure this won't be the end of this topic. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Okay, members, we have an amendment, so we'll take the amendment first. So can we have a show of hands all in favour of the amendment? Okay, that's unanimous, so that's passed. And then that then becomes the substantive motion. So all those in favour? Okay, members, that's unanimous, so thank you. That's the motion passed. Right, Stephen, to come back up.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Riley, for taking us through that part of the meeting. So, item 7, any urgent and relevant business. I don't have any in this section. I do have one piece for the next section, which we'll deal with in part 2. Okay, so with that, we'll go into part 2, confidential. We get a proposer and seconder to go into that. Councillor Irvine and Councillor Anne-Marie Donnelly. Okay, and Jill, if you can just give us a wee summary of the part 2 there.
Yes, Chair. While in confidential business, the committee considered a number of recommendations in relation to staffing matters for decision and noting.
Okay, and the proposer and seconder for that report, Councillor Deehan and Councillor Anne-Marie Donnelly. Are you all agreed? Okay, that's it. That takes us to the end of May's Policy and Resources Committee. It's my last meeting as chair of PNR until it was AGM's next month. So just want to thank you all for your cooperation and we've had a good working relationship, I think, during this year. It's a challenging enough committee at times. There's a lot of information in it, and I think during the year it was all done obviously respectfully, and everyone had the chance to have their voices heard. So I really enjoyed working as chair this year as PNR, and looking forward also to getting back to the back benches now after the AGM. He's looking in. Councillor Green.
Thanks, Chair. Sometimes I think that a year doesn't be long enough, for a chair, because you were really getting good at it, coming up by the end there. So I'm only joking. No, you've done really well, Steve.
Thanks. Thanks a million. Okay, folks, that's us. Safe home now. Thank you.